friend has just made his way into the studio.
And for the first time, he's not wearing a certain color on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh.
No green.
Shawn
Olmstead is with us.
You always wear, well, it's like neon orange down on your shoes. You
man.
always wear something like neon green. And here it is, St. Patrick's Day, nothing green.
Have you seen my shoes?
I'm looking at them.
Yeah, so they're a little neon for you.
But I mean green.
Green, no, my bad. Yeah. Jeez.
I'm not normally that guy, but
it's a crazy time right now. Like my dates are all messed up.
It is a crazy time.
I thought I'd come in, you're wearing Bob Marley. We got green. I was actually thinking to myself, what is going on? Because there's no BYU Cougars. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. So
it is a weird time. You're right.
The Leprechauns did not visit the Olmstead home. I can tell you that because,
understandably.
Yes.
And you mentioned that it is a crazy time. That is the phrase. Unprecedented, unparalleled. I can't tell you how many times I've heard those words in the last week because it's just something that we have not ever experienced. But how are you handling all of this? 1 week, I mean, you're the number 1 team in the country. You beat Hawaii, then you go 5 sets, and then all of a sudden you're not playing volleyball anymore.
Yeah. No, it's been kind of unprecedented. I had a long conversation with Craig, and he just kept using that phrase because, really, when have we ever seen anything like this happen? And so, most importantly, our thoughts and prayers and sincerely go out to the community. And I just keep thinking about that because I think, the people that are dealing with this illness and the virus, but, it extends so far. You think of all the people that, don't have the ability to work right now that are really scrambling to figure out how they make ends meet every single day, trying to figure out how they provide for their family. And so fortunately, we're not in a position like that right now that we're dealing with it, but that's real, and that's the thing that kind of hits home for me right now. But yeah, we're doing our best, and I think we're in a good spot. It was tough last week when it kind of just all it went so fast, and in that moment, we were trying to scramble to figure out what was going on. So much information in this day and age, you're just getting it from all ends. The kids are getting it, the coaches are getting it, and a lot of the information, nothing was, a lot of it, there wasn't specifics. Everyone knew what was going on with March Madness, right? It was like, okay, that's not happening, but in none of that did we hear stuff about volleyball. And I mean, our team was getting on a plane. Our bags were loaded on the plane to go to Palo Alto. We had to that moment not been told that there wasn't a volleyball game the next day, and my assistant coach, Devin Young, had the idea, let's call Stanford's head coach because the Pac-12 had just announced that they were canceling their basketball tournament. And they did say, and all the other sporting events. Well, we're in the MPSF, but we were going to play a Pac-12 school. So Devin had the smarts to say, let's call Costi. We called Costi. He was driving. He hadn't even seen that press release. And he said, I mean, if it's saying that, you guys, we've got to follow Pac-12 rules as their institution. And so don't get on that plane. But give me 5 minutes. And so we gave him 5 minutes. We call back again, and he just says, look, I can't get a hold of any of my administration. They're all in meetings, like lockdown meetings, but just don't get on the plane. So we go to Delta and go, hey, sorry to do this, but we've got like 30 bags on that plane. We're not going to get on. If there's any way that we can get those bags off the plane. And I didn't even talk with Tom and Brian about that. And then within about 10 minutes, I got a text from Brian and Tom saying, hey, did you get on that plane? And I said, no, we didn't get on the plane. We talked to the head coach. So it wasn't even administration talking. It was like, head coach, I don't think this is going to happen. And they said, oh, good, sweet. Okay, thanks. Because we've got, at the time they had softball stuck in Alabama. And so it was just, but even then that day, we had no information from our conference. We weren't getting anything, it was saying championships are canceled, but in all those press releases, I never saw men's volleyball. So we're, you're still in the position we were at where there's a glimmer of hope, maybe not us, but then you process everything and then you finally see it and it hits home. So we had to bring all the guys in for a meeting that night with Brian Santiago and just, what a tough meeting for us to be in. And yeah, it's sports, but what we have to understand is for these young men, that's their life and their time. and so we can look and say, hey, it's just sports, it's just a ball, it's just a net. But no, for those kids, it's their life. I put my heart and soul into my family, into my job. Well, they're putting their heart and soul into this, into their school, into volleyball, being here as a student athlete. So I think after that initial meeting, that was a meeting. There wasn't a dry eye in that meeting from anybody, from any of us, me on down through our trainers. And but then little by little, the next few days I was meeting with them. I saw them, start to kind of recoup and kind of figure out what was next and be in a better spot than in that moment. That was tough. But again, thoughts and prayers out to everybody that are impacted by the current events and to those people that are dealing with, in the real life world, dealing with bigger things than we're dealing with, because some sporting events have been canceled.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. And on this show, we'll mainly address kind of the sports impact, but yeah, you've brought it home for sure. It'd be one thing if you were 0-18 and got this news.
For sure.
It's another that you're 17-1, you're the new number one. Finally, the coach has caught up to the media, and that's been my agenda for a few weeks here. But you just hammered Hawaii on Thursday, and then Friday is like this epic 5-setter that goes into overtime and extras. And you have one loss. You're the number one team in the country.
Yeah.
How did that and the possibility of winning a national championship in May affect this emotionally for everybody, knowing, hey, this could have been the year that BYU got one again?
No, that for sure made it sting a little. I'm so excuse me if I don't have like the perfect lingo, and I hope that I don't hurt anybody's feelings in what I say, because like I keep going back to these bigger issues, but I want to address and discuss because I think it's important, and I want to do it correctly. But you're exactly right. I mean, no doubt that made it sting a lot more, and it hurt because we believed for some time now, we've been believing that we are the best team in the country, and Hawaii was number one, and that's fine, but we weren't 0-18. We were 17-0 going into that match, or 16-0 or whatever. And we go into that first match, that's it. The two undefeated teams, 1 and 2, sold out arena, packed house, great venue, great fans. The collective volleyball world was watching, college volleyball world was watching. And our guys just, boom, their sleeves were rolled up. Their eyes were, they were ears pinned down, ready for a fight. And they went in there and just played the best volleyball match that they'd played this year by far, and then set records for the rally scoring error. I mean, they just, boom, went to work, and they did it. They did it. And so, and then they came back the next night, and they were doing it again. So, what they did the first night, and then came back to do the second night, go up 2-0, and in the end we lost that match, but push them to the brink into the overtime. It does hurt a little bit more because it had the makings of a pretty spectacular season, and the guys they had that confidence, but that was even more a confidence booster. And so that definitely made it, no doubt, it made it more difficult. And in the moment that the news breaks and that we finalize, like, okay, we're done, guys. That meeting, just imagine that, like, guys, it's over. Made it. The seniors, those guys that have been here for so many years, that's it. Wow. And so I just told the guys, hey, that was the national championship. And, that's coach speak, but whatever. But I'm going to look out for those boys. I love them, and I care for them. And they know that. I know they know that. And it was. You had the two undefeated teams 3/4 way through the season, the matchup, and they went out there and did it. And nobody can ever take that away from them. Nobody can take away that experience, those memories, the moments, and the fact that they did it together as a group. And just to watch that match unfold, to see the excitement from the guys on the court to the guys on the bench. Everybody had come together, and that was the cool thing about this team, is they really had made an effort together, and they were a really, really tough knit, united group.
And you did it on the road.
On the road, yeah, and not an easy place to play on the road.
Gosh.
The travel, the time, the venue, everything. I mean, I love playing there. Don't get me wrong; it's one of my favorite places to play. But you can't deny that that's a tough place to go with all things, and that's a different road trip than just going to Southern California to play a match where, you can go down the night before and be ready to go the next day. You go down to Hawaii a couple days before, try to get a little acclimated, and so many distractions. But hey, they always put on a great event, and Hawaii was undefeated there for a while, the last 2 years or something like that, So yeah.
Okay, Shawn Olmstead with us on BYU Sports Nation. There is this rhetoric developing in the media that maybe we should crown a national champion because of how things played out, and your team is ranked number 1 and just beat the former number 1 on the road. Where do you stand on all of that, on the media potentially
off the block specifically
crowning a national champion?
No, I just kind of I stick with my guys and kind of the great season that we've had, and we can look back and look at the last poll, and it's if somebody has a sense of humor somewhere amidst all this tragedy, it's kind of in that Hawaii had been number 1 all year. We'd been number 2 for the most part of the year. It took us a little bit to get up there, but we kind of got to that spot pretty quickly. And then we both, continued rolling. And then here's this matchup. We go there, we make a statement. We make the best statement we could have. And then those are kind of some of the last volleyball matches that were played this season. The poll comes out 2 days later. There we go. We're number 1, pretty much almost unanimous. There was, I think, one that didn't have us there, but it was, yeah.
I know who it is. I called him out.
And so... you lost my train of thought.
And he was the first to email last night too.
Yeah. So yes. So, and so I look back. Hey, the season's got to be over. We can take pride and joy in the fact that we finished number 1 in the last poll available. And I think there is so many good teams out there. And there's a lot of season left to play. And man, but I would put all the money I've got on my boys going down the stretch. There's no doubt about it. But anything can happen. That's a great thing about sports that we're all missing out on right now. March Madness, all those shots, and so there is so many great teams. And so I just go back to the great performances that we got to witness and be a part of,
Shawn, it's great to catch up with you, man. Congratulations on a fantastic season, and we applaud you for being just kind of this light, this beacon, and helping us kind of put things in perspective.
I appreciate it. It means a lot. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Shawn. Coming up.